Unlimited podcast. And today, for the first time, we have a guest joining. It is Karan, the current captain of Close FC, who is who is currently studying at IIT Bombay. So again, one of the top students in the club as well. So welcome to him. How are you, man?
Thanks for introducing me. I'm doing really well, but I'm really, concerned about the situation here at United, and I'm looking forward to this talk.
Well, as you all may have heard, he's also a United fan. So I think Aryan will be very sad today, really very secluded
It's
after
not like
appearing on the news yesterday.
it's not like I've not been secluded for the past several podcasts.
Yeah, and by the way, if any of you don't know, he is the new Arnab Goswami of here. He appeared on the news yesterday and he was ranting about CBSE. So I think we'll drop the link in the description so you can see him ranting too. You should see Aryan on the news as well. Anyways, so we'll start. Uh, we'll start with the Premier League top four. I think the Premier League concluded on Sunday, and just like last year, Leicester bottled it on the last day, and West Ham are in Europe. So, what are your reactions on that?
So it was a gripping final day following 10 matches together and keeping one eye on the United game where our C team was playing against Wolves and somehow ended up beating them 2-1. But that was not the main talking point. It was the three teams going for the two Champions League spots, which was a great race to see. Somehow Liverpool won 8 of the last 10 games, an excellent string of results to finish third. They almost did a United what they did last season, and Leicester did a Leicester again from last season, where they were in the top four for a record 242 days. They were in the top four from game week 1 to game week 37, and them losing out was a travesty. And somehow, game week 38, they drop out. And all they needed to do was to beat Spurs because Chelsea had lost to Aston Villa. And the 3 points should have been enough. But somehow Harry Kane got his golden boot against Leicester. They won 4-2. And that Kasper Schmeichel own goal, which in my opinion ended up costing them the top four, is a travesty. I don't know how he made that mistake. And well, it's just Leicester. It's in their blood, and they bottled it again.
Well, in my opinion,
Inspired by
it
Barcelona
is
from
United who,
2019.
yeah, continue. Yeah, so I think it is United who gave Liverpool the top four because we rested our players for Leicester and then we just didn't turn up for Liverpool. Um,
Definitely. So the game which provided Liverpool the boost to the top four was definitely the United game. We bottled that game, and the next game against Leicester also we didn't do much. So that was the game which basically summed up Liverpool's last 5-6 games.
So
And
it
speaking
wasn't
about
just the
Leicester, yeah,
Liverpool game for me because in the Liverpool game we played into their hands because they've been playing well against teams who attack them because they can just counter and score more goals. I think the win was against West Brom where Alisson somehow scored a 90 plus fifth minute header to win it for them is almost poetic for them to finish in the top four. And I think that was the game that provided them with the top four.
yeah, and now that we have commented on Leicester, West Ham are in the Champions League. That means Mark Noble is going to, so not the Champions League, in the
Europa
Europa
League.
League. Mark Noble is going to have fun next year. And so are Tottenham because they are going to Ireland to play in a capacity of 500 people stadiums in the Conference League. So that's going to be super to watch them. I think this year too they got some low tier team in the FA Cup or in the other cup, whatever, the useless cup, and then they won final and Vinicius Junior was like Kylian Mbappe after scoring a hat trick. So
So
it's in
I
the
wanted
Spurs
to ask you
DNA.
this. Uh, without with Harry Kane scoring 24 goals, was it? Or 23 goals and 13
23,
assists.
23.
23 goals and 13 assists. They ended up just clinching the Conference League.
Conference League. I
Where
mean, did
would
they
they be
want to?
without
Yeah.
where would they be without Kane? And do you think he's going to move to a Premier League
Relegation,
rival in the summer?
relegation. That's what I feel. They would, we were talking about Arsenal getting relegated at the start of the season. That's where Spurs would have been. because Son he tailed off in the in the first part of the season. He was looking like a Ballon d'Or contender. In the second half, he completely tailed off. In the first year, talking about Kane, Son, Kane, them linking up for goals now and again every match 2 or 3 times. Second half, it just disappeared, and then even Kane started picking up little niggles. So Son, if Kane wasn't there,
So
and either
the Kane Son
13th,
partnership
14th
was
place or
because of
relegation.
Jose, right?
Sorry?
Jose kept playing up front. Jose kept playing defensive and asking Kane Son to do all the work. That's why they had all the partnership in goal. But I think the new manager Ryan Mason has done a good job, a better job, relatively better job, where they picked up results in the last few games.
I mean,
They got
they
the
they picked up
Conference
results,
League
but
at the expense of
yeah,
Arsenal.
yeah, but like Tottenham, they won a game that they did not want to win because I'm sure they did not want to end up in the Conference League. It's just a waste of their time. It's a waste of their resources, a waste of their players to play. I
It
mean,
still
it's
might
a
be a
jab
trophy at the end of the
competition.
season.
They'll still
So
not get it because the other clubs, Roma are in the Conference League. Even Villarreal might end up in the Conference League. So so I mean, while there are so the gap is that the top teams are really good, the bottom teams are really bad. So it's in the end, it's still going to be like a Tottenham versus Villarreal and or a Tottenham versus Roma. And I would take Roma, Villarreal to beat Tottenham because they're bottlers. They can't win a trophy, especially without Kane there.
Okay, talking about Villarreal, I think we should move on to the upcoming Europa League final because United does not have a, like, on paper they have had, like, in the past 5 matches, I think they've won two and lost one and
Two,
drew both, the rest two.
1-2, lost to drawn one
Yeah.
in the
So
Premier League.
how do you think the form is? Like right now, even Villarreal looks strong in their own league. They were pretty good, even though.
So the side is a little shaky at the moment, but I think it's a final, and the quality of Pogba, the quality of Bruno will carry us through the nerves that some players may exhibit.
But again, you were asking, will United be able to beat? Is the form bad? Is the form good? I want to ask you one thing. These one-off final games. Do you think form is a good characteristic to judge teams for a final? Because last year, I think we lost to
exactly.
Sevilla, right, in the semi-final, and we were on a really good run. We had just beaten Leicester, we had got in the Champions League, we had beaten Copenhagen. We were basically having fun and romping towards the final where we thought we were going to beat everybody, but then we ended up losing to Sevilla. So it was a complete opposite where United were on a good run and they lost. Now United were on sort of a bad run, but and I mean
Right.
it
I
can be
mean,
anything because it's a
that
one-off game,
that's
right?
there. Obviously you can't judge the performance of a team in the final based on the past results. But obviously it's a final, and in the final, obviously the mindset of the players is just different. It's not the usual one when they go into a match, play 90 minutes to get 3 points and come back. So speaking about Villarreal, first of all, so they obviously in the recent form they already have a shaky side, as Araf said, yeah, but they do have a good squad. If you talk about Gerard Moreno, the striker, he's had the most goals after Messi in La Liga this season, and having that as an advantage over not having Maguire at centre back, or maybe not having him, can potentially pose a threat. Second of all, Emery has had a really good run in Europa League, and he has won several times. So I don't know about um, I can't predict exactly what can happen, but yes, there's definitely a fight to put up.
Yeah, because
So yeah, Maguire is
yeah,
going to be a huge miss
he's
for
a, he's
us
a
at the
massive
centre
doubt,
back
but
position.
yeah, and
I mean, he's
Villarreal,
not going
I
to
think,
play. I read a report today where Ole in his press conference said that
yeah,
there's like a very small chance of him playing. And
yeah,
even
there's a
if we
small
play
chance,
him,
but
he won't be fit
yeah,
and won't be able to mark someone like a Gerard Moreno, and they'd exploit him. It's a lot like Brandon Rodgers starting Johnny Evans in the FA
yeah, yeah.
Cup final versus
But
Chelsea.
I think the game is not going to be decided if by Maguire versus Gerard Moreno or Maguire
Right.
versus Paco Alcacer. I think it's going to decide in the midfield because I think Villarreal is one of the most underrated midfields in Europe. They have, I think, Manu Trigueros and they have Danny Parejo, who are midfield maestros. They're like David Silva's, like they control the midfield. They have the they have the creativity, they have the pass, they have the shot. I think Trigueros also, he was unbelievable against Arsenal in the first half, and I think the game will be decided where I think we need to play a Fred and McTominay, because these players, Trigueros and Parejo, if they get time on the ball, they are very slow players, and everyone knows, if anyone has played FIFA, Danny Parejo, some 40-41 pace.
Definitely.
He's a very slow player, but he has that pass, he has the vision. He can basically play tiki taka and control the midfield. He can look like prime Barcelona at any time they want to. So, Fred and McTominay being on top of them, trying trying to trying to choke them, trying to frustrate them, will actually help us the game, because in attack they won't really cause us any problem, the midfield. But when they are attacking with, and especially with their pace, and Carlos Bacca, I think he scored a hat trick last to last week against Sevilla. So they have players in form. Then they also have Pau Torres at the back, who is a United target, who is a really good centre back. So it isn't a team which should be taken lightly, according to me. I mean, what do you
So
think?
it
Exactly.
will
And
obviously be no pushover because they obviously reached the final on proper merit and play. But I think United should be winning this final with the squad they have, with the quality
I
they
will
have.
also I'll
Pogba
also
being
like to,
playing from the last final.
continue.
Yeah, go
Yeah, I'll
ahead.
also like to add that uh, if I'm not wrong, Villarreal have been unbeaten in Europa League this season, and they have
Have they?
scored in and they have scored in the past, I think, 13 games, or 13 games out of 14 in the Europa. So obviously you can't take them lightly. So
Yeah.
we need to be really defensive. We need to be sharp in defense. We can't, do those silly mistakes, those little, blunders which keep happening here and there. We saw it against Sheffield. We saw it against, last week. We saw it against Wolves, the header. So you really can't, do much. You just have to defend well, and attack, and just
I mean,
convert every
yeah.
chance you have.
Yeah. I want to pose
Yeah, so
another
we'll know
question
what
here.
hap
Yeah.
we'll know what happens in like
Mm.
a day or two, but I think this final won't be of a lot as much as quality as a Champions League final. So that's three
Yeah.
days after the Europa League final between City and Chelsea.
Yeah.
What do you have what do you think
Like,
about the
before that, I want to
upcoming
pose
final?
another question for
Oh
that
yeah,
for the
sure.
Europa League final. So, if you're in Ollie's shoes, and say you have a 50% or a 75% Maguire, or 100% Eric Bailly, who do you pick?
I won't start Maguire because first of all he's naturally a little slow, and a 50 to 75% Maguire again, as we saw with Johnny Evans. Brandon Rogers said he was
Johnny Evans is
90% fit,
31. He is nearing the end of his career, isn't he? Maguire.
but he was 90% fit. Maguire, a 50% fit Maguire versus a pacey center forward, or even a moderately fast center forward. I don't think that would be a very good idea.
But again, I think Samuel Chukwueze, he's the Nigerian winger, really quick, really tricky. He is injured for the final, so they're lacking some serious pace there. So would that force Oli to, not force, but would Oli then prefer to play Maguire, because they're lacking pace, and then they need the leadership, they need that heading, they need that, basically, that presence in the box with him, or no? Or will he still stick to Bailly?
I
So
think he'll
what I think
start
is that,
Bailly and Lindelof.
yeah, he should start Bayern Lindelof. But if I were in his place, I would have started Maguire if he's 50% fit at least. Because what I think is that Maguire has that basic ability of getting the team together. He has that leadership in him. Even though he might not be fast, he might not be defending well as such. But suppose you go 1-0 down, 2-0 down, he can get the team together from the back, and he can provide us with the mental stability at least to get to 2-2, and then 3-2, or maybe more.
Okay,
So
and
starting by,
one,
obviously,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
No, no,
more
continue,
concerned
continue.
about
I just
is
had one final question before we could move on to the Champions League final. First of all, your predictions for this, and then second, who do you think will be the match winner for either of the sides?
So I think it will be United 2 and Villarreal 1. Obviously, I don't expect a clean sheet when we have not, we don't have really a strong defense. And for the winner, I don't know, but I will go with Cavani.
Mara?
So I think it's going to be a cagey first half, and both sides will score in the second half. I think maybe Pogba is going to score a winner just like last time, but not. It wasn't an extra time, but Pogba did score in 2017 to win us the cup. So I think it's going to be something like that.
Even yeah, actually looking at the current form of like Villarreal and how Emery has been on like great momentum right now, I still think United have a better chance than Villarreal. Like not hating on Villarreal, but like United have a motive to complete. Last time they lost to Sevilla, it might have hurt worse than again losing to a Spanish side, at least in finals. I think it's gonna be 1-0
At least we
United.
lost to eventual winners.
Yeah. But I think, while United are the better team, I think Villarreal have more motive than United. They're more motive than United because they're currently in the Conference League, and it's basically either the Conference League or the Champions League if they win this. So it's basically all or nothing. So for United, they're still in the Champions League next season, and I'm scared that United they would take this game too lightly, start dilly-dallying. I mean, Oli wouldn't let that happen, but that is, I'm scared that that might happen. Being a United
So
fan, I,
one
I don't I don't want to be too positive before the game and look like we would hammer Villarreal because then it might backfire. So I'm
one
being
reason
very
I
cautious
think
Also to
about
they're
it.
add,
focused
all
on the Champions League is because they rested their squad versus the full squad
yeah,
versus
exactly,
Wolves. So they have a full week of
exactly,
rest.
yes.
They're going to play and prepare for Villarreal.
Okay, well, I think that covered the Europa League final. Now coming on to the Champions League final, a game I will not watch because I just won't. It's not a game I want to watch. Chelsea versus Man City. Mm,
It's going to be a
I
higher quality match than the
Yeah,
Europa
I
League,
sense pure
obviously.
no,
It's
spite.
two tactical geniuses going. I won't say genius,
tactical
Pep Guardiola,
geniuses.
genius versus
Wait, Thomas Tuchel got smacked
Guardiola
by
is one, please.
her.
Guardiola is one.
He has the
You
best
can't deny
players.
that. That
So
doesn't
I would
matter.
I would like to throw light on this
United has
team
spent
wise.
1 billion in the last 8 years, and look where that's got
And
them.
the owners have taken 1.5 billion out of the club, so they've basically lost 500 million.
Yeah, right.
Still spending on players.
City have
So
spent more. So I mean, anyways, we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the final. Um, what do you think would happen?
I think it's going to be
right.
a
So
final of high quality, and I think City hammered Everton 5-0 while Chelsea lost 2-1 to Aston Villa. So it's very contrasting runs that these sides are on. And I think City are going to pull through and win the Champions League, maybe 3-1.
so I would like to talk firstly about Chelsea and then City. So talking about Chelsea, they were having a really good run under Tuchel. Then they had the chance to win the FA Cup, which they bottled, and then they lost to Aston Villa at home after knowing that if they would have won the game or even drawn the game, they would have been good. And I think they will build up on this, and they will want
We lost you there,
to
Karan. Can you just repeat?
secure the UCL. Am I audible now?
Yeah. Can you just repeat the last point?
Yeah, so I said that Chelsea have, they had two finals with them, won the FA Cup, and then now obviously the UCL is there. So they bottled the FA Cup, and then they've lost to Aston Villa, which could have secured them top four, which they already have because of Leicester's mistake. So I think they would have they will build up on this, knowing that they have lost two crucial matches and they will want to win the final. And now speaking about City, I think their form is really well right now. It's beating 5-0, and that to a team like Everton, who also were
Losing to
top five.
Brighton 3-2.
Right. So I understand that fact, but that was a good game. Brighton had that in them. They wanted to win it. Okay. But, defeating Everton 5-0, and I understand Everton are not even in the top eight. So the loss wasn't justified, but 5-0 is a big score. And I think City will pull this, but I think it's going to be a really good fight. So again, a clean sheet for any team wouldn't be. So I think it's going to be 3-2 to City.
Aryan?
I,
Resident
I
City fan, please
yeah,
tell
Yeah.
exactly.
us.
So
Current City fan. Current,
current City
not
fan, for
future.
sure, it's out of spite you're speaking. But anyways, look, I think even as Karan said, the City's form right now has been amazing. Like one of the best points ever achieved. Except, there were a couple. How Brighton was a big loss, but then again, it was a
Leeds,
two.
Leeds. They've been bottling Leeds.
Yes, so does every other
Not
football
Leeds as
club.
the club, but Leeds as in the goals.
Yeah, but like they also lost to Leeds, by the way. But
Uh,
they also lost to Leeds back in April.
yeah.
But like my point here is the last few matches have shown the momentum they're carrying. Pep has been like one of the greatest things that might have happened to City. And right now, I know like there's this
The
whole
greatest thing that happened to City was Sheikh Mansour. Anyways, continue.
exactly, you can say out of spite, but the formula worked.
I'm not
In
saying
the
out of spite.
Champions
I mean,
League final,
it's facts, man.
we are already the Premier League champions. What else do you want? So I think, but like again, Chelsea, maybe the morale might be down, but it's still a good team to fight against. So it's gonna be for me. It's either be gonna be a cut close 3-2 or just City wipes off clean with 3-0, 4-0.
Okay. Well, I think it's a one-off game, so anything could happen. Form goes out of the window. Players are equally motivated. If not, for me, Chelsea players might be more motivated than City because I think City players might get a bit
Exactly.
complacent, while Chelsea's might not. While City have more quality and a better manager and a better squad. So I mean, it could go anywhere. At the end of the day, it just comes down to who wants it more.
Exactly.
And
You really can't predict such,
yeah, but
matches.
but I think City will win it. As much as I hate to say it, City, the quality will be too much. I think it'll go down to the wire, even extra time or penalties perhaps, but City will edge it.
So they could win the treble.
No, not the treble,
Not
but
exactly.
Not the FA
Carabao
Cup
Cup is
treble,
not
but the
Not with the
Carabao Cup.
Carabao.
Carabao Cup is not a treble. FA Cup. That is why Sir Alex Ferguson is called Sir Alex Ferguson. He got knighted because of the treble. So there won't be any Sir Pep Guardiola.
Next year, maybe. Who knows?
No.
Out
Maybe if
of
they
spite.
lose this year, then they'll have extra motivation next year.
I mean, probably, but next year other teams will strengthen. Now, I think moving on to France, and you can take Pochettino out of Tottenham, but you can't take Tottenham out of Pochettino. Bottling the league with PSG against
So
the Lille side.
I won't say exactly they bottled it because the start to the season was horrendous. That's why the change in
But
manager
can you can you
occurred.
excuse that start in the
They
Farmers
lost
League?
like 4 or 5 of the first 7 games. So
Yeah, I think
that
Lille
that was
Lille won
that was
four.
what caused them, right?
Yeah, Lille won 3 or 4 less games than PSG, yet they won the title. That
Exactly,
that's
exactly.
that's the amazing part, and they won it not through massive signings. Their squad size was small, was cheap. Their squad was cheaper than Neymar and Mbappe combined. It was just through that's why I say that I respect the teams who win the title through smart decisions, smart moves, rather than just putting money in through just splashing money and buying all the players. And Lille have shown it. Leicester showed it. West Ham showed it. And I have more respect to the teams for this very reason. Their manager, their goalkeeper, who's going to AC Milan, Mike Maignan, he was brilliant. Renato Sanchez, who was looking dismal for the last couple of seasons, he was brilliant. Yusuf Yasici, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he was brilliant. Burak Yilmaz, they signed him on a free. He is 33. Most of the people thought he was washed up. He was brilliant. Everyone, even Jose Font, he was a Southampton player. 34, 35. He came from
35
China.
years, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And they
this season has been a great story for underdogs. I would like to say Atletico won the title after 7 years.
not
Inter
Atletico
Milan
were
winning the
underdogs.
title, but they won the title after 7 years, is what I'm saying. Inter Milan won the title after 11 years.
Yeah.
There was Lille winning, ending PSG's dominance on the title. There's still the Premier League and Bundesliga that's being dominated by City, Liverpool, and Bayern. But it's been a great year, and it's been a different year because now that we get away games were not so different from a home game because there were no fans. But it's a great thing that we finally have fans back, and it's improving the quality of football.
Exactly. I
Well, I
mean,
think
this
I
year
think this
of
is all we have time for today. I think we have well exceeded a normal 20-25 minute limit normally, but I think it was a really good chat to have today. We talked about a lot of things really interesting, and we'll come back next week, and hopefully United would have won and Chelsea would have won, but I think I think Man City will take it. So I guess this is it for this week, and we'll see you next week. So have a good week and thank you.